I wanted to share with you a story that happened to me several years ago when I was an operations manager at a local media company. The editors that we had at the company had been there a lot of years and weren't really particularly interested in computers, except when they went wrong. If we had a problem, they would come, they would shout, they would bang on the table, they would relay to me that we were on a deadline and we had to be careful what we were doing. And they would at times swear. When the problem was sorted, they'd be apologetic and we're really sorry about that. We were under pressure at the time and would usually offer to take me to for a drink. It was something that I was used to. It was something that just happened. Then I was tasked with bringing ITIL in. So I started off, as you will know, ITIL is a big thing to bring into an organisation. So we started off with a basic service desk, incident management, etc. One day, I'm walking down the corridor and the chief editor was walking the other way. So it's morning, he says morning, and then just as he passes me, he stops and says, "Do you know the systems are down?" Well, my heart sank. I was kind of, oh no, what's happened now? So I turned and said, no, I wasn't aware of this. And he said, I didn't know if you knew. And then walked off. I was amazed. So I turned and headed for the service desk. This was in the days when we didn't all carry mobile phones about all the time. I arrived at the service desk and said, what's happening? I was informed that the server was down, that they'd spotted it before anybody else, that somebody was in there working on recovery, and that they'd contacted the editor to inform him before he'd actually found out. He was being notified every 15 minutes of an update of what was going on, and indeed there was a note on my desk that told me what was happening for when I returned to my office. Being unwilling to go and interrupt the guy doing the actual repairs on the server, I retired to my office. After about 10-15 minutes, again I got a call from the service desk saying that the server was now back up again and service had been resumed. I arranged with them to do a follow-up wash-up meeting to decide what had gone wrong, how we could stop it happening again, etc. And that seemed to be the end of the problem. Later that day, I'm walking down the same corridor and the same editor comes towards me the other way. Afternoon, says I. Afternoon, he says. And then he goes, thanks for this morning. That was really good. And I was just amazed. This was a guy who would swear at me and shout and bang on the table if things went wrong. And here he was thanking me. And I realised that this was down to communication and actual service management and ITIL being implemented, or at least the start of implementation. I think it was at that point that I first realised that service management really works.